My beloved child, listen carefully, because what you're about to hear is not a story you casually scroll past. This is the kind of moment that changes everything. The kind that makes time slow down and your heartbeat get louder. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You were never supposed to hear this today, not like this, not through a voice like mine. And yet, here we are. A letter surfaced. A name was spoken. And suddenly, your ordinary life collided with a truth so heavy, it could rewrite your entire future. You think this is clickbait? You think this is just another dramatic line? No. This is the beginning of something that was hidden from you on purpose. The letter began with just 3 words, the same ones you're hearing now. My beloved child. Strange, right? Because no one has ever called you that in a way that felt loaded. Weighted. Intentional. The paper wasn't old, but the message felt ancient, like it had been waiting for the right moment to find you. It spoke of decisions made long before you even knew how to speak. Of eyes that watched from a distance. Of a life you were protected from without your consent. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Because every line of this letter felt like it was peeling back a layer of reality you didn't know existed. Then came the sentence that changed everything. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just calm. Controlled. If you are reading this, it means I am no longer able to protect you from the truth. That's when your chest tightened. Because who writes something like that unless they've been carrying a secret too heavy for one lifetime? The letter spoke about wealth, yes, unimaginable wealth, but not in numbers. Not yet. It spoke about responsibility. About legacy. About a promise made the day you were born. And here's the part that should make you pause. It said you were chosen, not by blood alone, but by consequence. You might be thinking, this sounds unreal. That's exactly what makes it terrifyingly real. Because the letter didn't try to convince you. It assumed you would feel it. It described moments from your life that no stranger should know. Small things. Quiet fears. Decisions you made when you thought no one was watching. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The kind of reveal that doesn't explode. It settles, and then reshapes everything you thought you were. Halfway through, the tone shifted. The words became softer, almost apologetic. It spoke of distance, of watching from afar, of sacrifices made so you could live an ordinary life. And then, without warning, it said this: everything I built, everything I protected, everything I hid, now belongs to you. No celebration. No excitement. Just wait. Because suddenly, wealth wasn't money anymore. It was responsibility. It was power. It was a truth that could either elevate you or crush you, depending on what you chose to do next. And just when you think that's the biggest reveal, the letter pulls back even further. It hints that this inheritance was never meant to be easy to accept. That others once tried to claim it. That names were erased. That stories were rewritten. And the reason you were kept away? Because you were the only one who could inherit it without destroying it. Read that again in your mind. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the next part isn't about money, it's about identity. By now, your hands would be shaking. Not from fear, but from realization. The letter makes it clear, this was never about luck. It was about timing. About you reaching a point in life where you could finally handle the truth. Where loss, struggle, and doubt had already shaped you into someone strong enough to carry what comes next. And then it ends with a sentence so simple, yet so powerful, it echoes long after you finish reading. What you do next will define not just your future, but the meaning of my entire life. So now you're here. Standing at the edge of something massive. And you can feel it, can't you? That pull. That curiosity. That quiet voice saying this story isn't over, it's just beginning. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because in the next part, the truth about who left you everything, and why it had to be you, will finally start to unfold. The silence after that letter felt louder than any noise you've ever heard. It wasn't empty, it was heavy. Like the air itself was waiting for your reaction. You could feel it in your chest, that strange mix of fear and curiosity. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the moment you thought the story had ended, that's when the second envelope appeared. Thicker. Heavier. No name on it. Just a seal you didn't recognize, but somehow, trusted. And the moment you touched it, you knew, this wasn't meant to be found easily. Inside wasn't money. Not yet. It was proof. Documents. Records. Photos you'd never seen but somehow felt connected to. There were dates that matched moments from your life, moments you thought were random. A sudden opportunity. A missed accident. A door that opened when it shouldn't have. And then a single line typed in bold, everything you survived was planned to prepare you. That's when it hit you. This wasn't inheritance. This was succession. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The pages explained how the wealth was built quietly, over decades. Not loud businesses. Not public empires. But silent influence. Investments made before trends existed. Decisions that shaped markets before people even noticed. And then came the part that made your stomach drop, the reason your name was never attached to any of it. Because visibility meant danger. Because people had tried to take it before. Because the last person who held this power didn't survive long after revealing themselves. And now, somehow, it was your turn. Your mind probably wants to reject this. That's normal. The letter said it would happen. It warned you'd want to walk away, pretend this was fiction, close everything and go back to your normal life. But then it asked a question that won't leave you alone. If your life was ordinary, why did it always feel like something was missing? That line hits different, doesn't it? Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this isn't about greed, it's about truth. And right here, before it goes any further, let me say this. If this story is pulling you in, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who loves deep stories. Drop a comment if you feel the weight of this moment. And if you want to know how this ends, make sure you're subscribed, because what comes next changes everything. This isn't just entertainment. This is a slow burn revelation. And you're already too deep to turn back. The next page didn't talk about money at all. It talked about you. Your choices. Your patterns. Your resilience. It explained why you always felt different in rooms full of people. Why success never satisfied you the way it should. Why loss shaped you instead of breaking you. According to the letter, all of that was training. Conditioning. Not by force, by experience. So that when the truth finally reached you, you wouldn't waste it. And then came the warning. Short. Sharp. Unforgiving. Once you accept this, there is no going back. No dramatic music. No big explanation. Just that sentence, sitting there like a locked door. Because accepting the inheritance didn't just mean gaining wealth. It meant stepping into a role someone else had died protecting. It meant becoming visible to people who watch quietly, and act quickly. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The final lines of the envelope didn't give answers. They gave a choice. A time. A location. And a sentence that refuses to leave your mind. If you don't come, everything I built disappears forever. That's where it ended. No signature. No goodbye. Just silence again. And now you're left with this feeling, that your life, as you knew it, ended the moment you read those first 3 words. My beloved child. The room felt smaller after that. Not because the walls moved, but because the truth had. It pressed in from every side, silent and patient, like it knew you couldn't escape it even if you tried. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You sat there holding the envelope, realizing that for the first time in your life, you weren't reacting, you were being summoned. Whatever this was, it had been waiting for you to be ready. And the scariest part? Deep down, you knew you were. The location mentioned in the letter wasn't dramatic. No secret island. No towering mansion. Just an address that looked painfully ordinary. That's what made it terrifying. Because power that hides in plain sight is never accidental. When you arrived, there was no security gate, no guards, just an old building that looked forgotten by time. But the moment you stepped inside, something shifted. The air felt aware. As if the walls themselves were measuring you, judging whether you belonged there or not. Inside, everything was prepared. Not dusty. Not abandoned. Maintained. Preserved. Waiting. There were screens, files, locked drawers, and one chair placed perfectly in the center of the room. And on that chair, another envelope. This one had only a single line written on it: sit and listen carefully. Your instincts screamed to leave, but your body didn't move. Because some part of you knew, walking away now would mean living the rest of your life wondering what you were meant to become. The moment you sat down, the screen in front of you turned on by itself. A voice began to speak. Calm. Controlled. Familiar in a way you couldn't explain. It didn't introduce itself. It didn't need to. It spoke about choices. About how most people live their entire lives reacting to circumstances instead of shaping them. And then it said something that made your breath catch: you were never meant to follow the world. You were meant to influence it quietly. That's when the truth finally began to unfold. The wealth wasn't stored in vaults or accounts alone. It was influence, leverage, information, connections, the kind that shifts outcomes without ever appearing in headlines. The kind that decides which doors open and which ones never exist. And the person who built it? They didn't want recognition. They wanted continuity. Someone who wouldn't abuse it. Someone who understood restraint. Someone like you. Your entire life suddenly made sense in reverse. The struggles that hardened you. The opportunities that appeared just when you were about to quit. The moments of protection you couldn't explain. None of it was luck. It was guidance. Observation. Preparation. The voice explained that others had been tested before you, and failed. They wanted power. You wanted purpose. That difference, it said, was everything. And then came the reveal that shook you to your core. The person who left you all of this wasn't just a distant benefactor. They were connected to you in a way deeper than blood. They had watched you grow, suffer, learn, and rise, all from the shadows. Every major decision you thought you made alone had been silently protected. Not controlled. Protected. Because the world you were about to step into doesn't forgive mistakes. The screen went dark. The room fell silent again. And in that silence, one final message appeared on the table in front of you. No explanation. No emotion. Just a single sentence printed on black paper: what comes next will test who you truly are. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because in the next part, the truth about who was watching you, and what they sacrificed for you, will finally be revealed. The moment you picked up that final message, the weight of everything finally hit you. Not fear, clarity. The kind that makes your hands steady and your mind sharp. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The room felt different now, like it was no longer testing you, but accepting you. And then, slowly, a hidden panel slid open behind the wall. No drama. No noise. Just truth revealing itself when the time was right. Inside was a single recording device. When it activated, the voice you'd been hearing finally spoke with emotion. Not power. Not control. Emotion. It told you the story that had been kept from you your entire life. The sacrifices. The disappearances. The reason your path was never straight. The person behind it all didn't want you to inherit wealth, they wanted you to inherit perspective. Because money can be stolen. Power can be challenged. But perspective? That changes generations. That's when the biggest truth dropped. The person who left you everything was the one who walked away from the world so you could grow without its shadow. They chose to vanish instead of ruling openly. They chose to watch you struggle rather than hand you shortcuts. Because they wanted you real. Unspoiled. Human. And in that moment, you realized something painful and beautiful at the same time: they loved you enough to stay invisible. The recording ended with words that cut deeper than anything before. I gave up being known, so you could become unstoppable. Let that sink in. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because now you understand. This inheritance was never about living rich. It was about living right. About deciding whether you'd use what you were given to control, or to protect. Before the screen went dark, one final instruction appeared. Not a command. A choice. If you accept this path, others will notice. Some will follow. Some will resist. Choose wisely who you become. And that's when you realized, the story doesn't end here. It begins the moment you decide who you are after knowing the truth. If this story pulled you in, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who loves deep, mind-bending narratives. Drop a comment if you felt that twist hit you. And make sure you're subscribed, because what comes next goes even deeper than this. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You're not the same person you were at the beginning of this story. And that's the point. Because some stories aren't meant to entertain, they're meant to awaken. The silence after everything faded wasn't empty anymore, it was charged. Like the air before a storm. You stood there realizing something fundamental had shifted inside you. Not excitement. Not fear. Responsibility. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because now, for the first time, you weren't being watched, you were being trusted. The room began to shut down, one system at a time, as if acknowledging that its purpose had been fulfilled. But just before the last light went out, a final file appeared on the screen. No warning. No introduction. Just a name. Your name. Followed by a single word, active. That's when it hit you. This wasn't an inheritance you receive. It's a role you step into. And the moment you do, the world starts responding differently. As you walked out, the world felt the same, yet not. Cars passed. People talked. Life moved on. But you could feel it now, the invisible current underneath everything. Decisions being made. Paths being shaped. Outcomes nudged quietly. You realized the power wasn't in controlling events. It was in understanding them before they happened. And suddenly, moments from your past made sense in ways they never had before. Your phone buzzed. No number. Just a message. Short. Precise. They'll test you soon. No explanation. No instructions. Just a warning. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the moment you accept awareness, the world starts pushing back. Not with force, with choices. You understood then why secrecy mattered. Why the one who came before you chose silence over spotlight. Influence works best when it's unseen. When people think outcomes are coincidence. When power moves without needing credit. And now, whether you liked it or not, you were part of that hidden layer. Not above people. Not beneath them. Between outcomes and intentions. That night, sleep didn't come easily. Not because of fear, but because of clarity. You saw the world differently now. Every headline felt incomplete. Every decision felt connected. And for the first time, you realized something chilling. Most people live their entire lives unaware of the forces shaping them. You were no longer one of them. And then it happened. A knock. Soft. Precise. Timed. You opened the door to find nothing, except a small black card on the floor. No name. No logo. Just a symbol you recognized instantly from the files. Proof that this wasn't over. Proof that the next phase had begun. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the truth is, the wealth was never the gift. Awareness was. And now that you have it, the real question isn't what you've inherited, it's what kind of force you're about to become. This isn't the end of the story. It's the moment the world starts responding to you. The card felt heavier than it should have. Not because of its weight, but because of what it represented. A confirmation. A signal. A door that had just unlocked somewhere you couldn't see. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the moment you touched that symbol, something inside you shifted again, quieter this time, but deeper. You didn't sleep that night. Not from fear, from awareness. Your mind kept replaying everything in a new order. The patterns. The timing. The moments you were saved without knowing how. The failures that pushed you exactly where you needed to be. It was all alignment. And now that you could see it, you couldn't unsee it. The world felt thinner, like a veil had been pulled back just enough for you to glimpse what runs beneath it. Morning came differently. Not louder. Sharper. Every sound felt intentional. Every face on the street felt like it carried a story you could almost read. And that's when you realized something terrifyingly powerful, you weren't guessing anymore. You were sensing. Patterns began forming before events happened. Decisions made sense before explanations arrived. It wasn't magic. It was awareness sharpened by truth. Then your phone vibrated again. One message. One line. Observation phase complete. No sender. No context. But you understood. They had been watching how you reacted. Not what you did, how you processed it. Whether power excited you. Whether fear controlled you. Whether curiosity outweighed ego. And the fact that you were still calm meant you passed. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this is where most people would break. Where they'd rush. Ask questions. Demand answers. You didn't. And that silence? That restraint? That's what made you different. Later that day, you noticed something subtle but impossible to ignore. People listened to you more. Not because you spoke louder, but because your words carried weight. Even you didn't know why. Conversations shifted when you entered rooms. Decisions paused until you spoke. Influence was no longer something you imagined. It was responding to you. And then came the realization that hit harder than anything before: you weren't stepping into someone else's legacy. You were becoming the continuation of it. The one before you didn't want an heir. They wanted evolution. Someone who would take everything they built and transform it for a world they'd never see. That's why they disappeared. That's why they stayed silent. That's why they chose you. As night fell again, another message arrived. This one longer. Colder. More direct. From this point forward, neutrality is no longer an option. No explanation followed. Because none was needed. You understood. Staying passive would now be a choice, and choices have consequences. The world had shifted you from observer to participant. And whether you acted or not, things would move because of you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because in the next part, you'll discover the one truth that changes everything. The reason this power exists at all, and the cost that comes with using it. This was never about inheritance. It was about becoming what the world quietly prepares for, long before it knows it needs you. The air felt different the moment you read that last line. Not tense. Not calm. Heavy with inevitability. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because now the story wasn't pulling you forward anymore, it was closing in around you. That night, you finally understood the meaning of cost. It wasn't money. It wasn't danger. It wasn't even sacrifice in the way people imagine it. The cost was isolation. The more aware you became, the further you drifted from the world you once knew. Conversations felt slower. Emotions felt predictable. Reactions felt rehearsed. You could see outcomes forming before people realized they had made a choice. And with that clarity came a quiet loneliness. Not because you were alone, but because you were ahead. Then it happened. A message arrived that wasn't digital. No screen. No sound. Just a piece of paper slipped under your door sometime between moments. On it, a single sentence written in handwriting you recognized instantly, even though you'd never seen it before. They're moving faster than expected. Your heartbeat slowed instead of racing. Because now you understood what they meant. The others. The ones who tried before. The ones who failed. The ones who wanted control without understanding consequence. The reason this power had been hidden for so long wasn't secrecy, it was protection. And suddenly, the full picture came into focus. This wasn't about wealth. This wasn't about influence. This wasn't even about you. It was about balance. There were forces in the world that pushed too hard, took too much, controlled too deeply. And every generation, someone had to exist quietly on the other side. Not to fight them openly, but to correct the scale when it tipped too far. That's what you were stepping into. Not a throne. A pressure point. The realization hit you like a wave. You weren't chosen because you were powerful. You were chosen because you were restrained. Because you questioned yourself. Because you hesitated. Because you understood loss. That's what made you dangerous in the right way. Then came the moment that changed everything. Another message. Longer this time. Direct. Unfiltered. You will soon be given an opportunity to act. If you do nothing, the world continues as it is. If you intervene, the outcome will shift, quietly, permanently. Choose carefully. This is the line between observer and architect. No countdown. No instructions. Just that. And for the first time, fear crept in, not fear of failure, but fear of success. Because now you understood the truth no one ever talks about: power doesn't corrupt. Clarity does. Once you see how things truly work, you can never unsee them. You can never pretend your choices don't matter. You can never go back to being just another person in the crowd. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because in the next part, you'll face the decision that defines everything. Not a dramatic one. Not a loud one. A quiet choice. Made in seconds. With consequences that echo for years. And when that moment comes, you'll realize something chilling. This story was never about what you inherited. It was about what you're willing to become. The moment arrived without drama. No countdown. No warning sound. Just a stillness so complete it felt louder than anything before it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this was the moment everything had been leading toward, the kind of moment that looks small on the surface, but decides the direction of entire lives beneath it. You were standing at the edge of a choice no one else could see. The message came the same way the others had, quietly, precisely, without emotion. But this one carried weight in every word. You don't need permission. You only need intention. That's when you understood what the final test was. There was no right answer. No perfect move. No guaranteed outcome. Just intention. You realized something terrifyingly simple: the system you had inherited wasn't designed to be used often. It was designed to be used correctly. Rarely. Carefully. Only when the balance tipped too far to one side. And now, it had. You thought back to everything that led you here, the loss, the confusion, the moments you thought were setbacks but were actually shaping you. You weren't being tested for intelligence, or courage, or ambition. You were being tested for restraint. Because power used too early becomes destruction. Power used too late becomes regret. And suddenly, you understood why the one before you had vanished. They hadn't disappeared. They had stepped back. To let the next mind take over. You. The choice in front of you wasn't dramatic. It wasn't heroic. It didn't involve confrontation or spectacle. It was subtle. A single decision that would shift a chain of events just enough to prevent something irreversible. No applause. No recognition. No one would ever know it was you. And that's when it hit you, the final truth. The greatest power in the world isn't control. It's invisibility. To shape outcomes without needing credit. To protect without being praised. To influence without being seen. You closed your eyes. You made the choice. Nothing exploded. Nothing changed instantly. The world didn't stop. But somewhere far away, a decision shifted. A path rerouted. A future softened. And just like that, it was done. The system went silent. The messages stopped. The pressure faded. Not because it ended, but because it had accepted you. As you stood there, the weight lifted, replaced by something calmer. Not relief. Not victory. Purpose. You finally understood why this story found you. Why you stayed till the end. Why every word pulled you deeper. Because this was never just a story. It was a mirror. And now that you've seen what lies beneath the surface, you'll never look at the world the same way again. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Because some stories don't end with a conclusion. They end with you becoming something new.